We're calling this meeting of the Calexico City Council / Calexico Redevelopment Successor Agency / Calexico Financing Authority to order. It is 5:33. We have our first roll call for closed session.
She's going to be joining us in closed session.
It's okay.
Soon, because she was in another Zoom meeting.
Mayor Ureña,
Here?
Councilmember Moreno,
Here.
Councilmember Montanares, Councilmember Garcia,
Here.
Councilwoman Romo is currently absent, but she'll be joining you guys in closed session.
Okay.
You have quorum.
Sounds good. Any notes for public comments?
Oh, you want to for
Mr. Mayor, we do have, we're going to have one item for closed session that we need to add as an urgency item that came to the attention of the city after the posting of the agenda. It's regarding potential litigation, significant exposure to litigation. It's one potential case.
Okay. Is there a motion to add this item to the emergency or to the closed session?
Moved.
Moved by Mr. Moreno, second by Mr. Garcia. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Item is added. Is there any public comments, Ms. Clerk?
There is one public comment, but I believe it's under open session.
Okay, sounds good. Seeing no closed session public comments, we will now adjourn to closed session. It is 6:32. We will be calling this regular session of the Calexico City Council, Calexico Redevelopment Successor Agency, Calexico Financing Authority meeting to order. We will start with roll call.
Recording in progress.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Gloria Romo,
See, connect.
Ms. Romo, can you hear us? Ms. Romo, can you hear us?
Hola.
Yes.
Ms. Romo is here.
Okay.
Councilmember Camilo Garcia,
Here.
Councilmember Roberto Montanares, Councilmember Javier Moreno.
Present.
We have a quorum. Okay, we will rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Councilman Moreno, if you could lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yes, Mayor, thank you.
Ready? Begin.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Garcia, the mission statement.
City of Calexico mission statement. Together, we pledge to provide effective and efficient services in a courteous and respectful manner to improve the quality of life for all in our unique border community. Viva Calexico.
Pastor Baldwin from the Methodist Church, if you could lead the invocation.
I'll be brief about, I was asked to do it in bilingual, so please bear with me as we declare this time under God to have His consent and His authority to take decisions in the best way representing our community or the best interest for our people, for our families. Haré una breve plegaria de invocación bilingüe como me fue pedido, que hace algo muy particular de nuestra sociedad, así que elevemos una oración a Dios pidiendo su sabiduría, discernimiento para tomar decisiones buenas que representan el bienestar de nuestras familias y nuestra gente. Dios, en tus manos, en esta hora ponemos el control de esta sesión. In your hands, God, we put this session under the care of your holy hands so we can take wise decisions as you have taught us to always come to you, declaring your great grace and mercy for us, as we today declare that all we can do today by the decisions and the counsel we heard and the conversations and decisions we take We want to glorify you through the way our families and each one of us individually can worship you through our act of mercy and peace and justice for others. Amén. Señor, y que a través del Señor los actos que hagamos este día, a través de nuestras decisiones, nuestra conciencia, nuestra toma de determinaciones, sea una representación, Señor, de nuestra misericordia y gracia para los demás, sabiendo que queremos hacer lo justo delante de ti para todos. En el nombre de Jesucristo, así lo pedimos. Amén.
Amén. Muchas gracias, Pastor, por una tan clara y emotiva invocación. We take this time to thank our speaker for the invocation and invite people of all faiths who would like to, in future meetings, invoke sessions of the City Council. We aim to be inclusive with invocations, and we take those petitions seriously. Any closed sessions announcements, Council?
Thank you. No reportable access from a closed session, but I do want to report that Mayor Pro Tem Romo did participate during closed session, and she arrived via teleconference at 5:37 p.m. during closed session. Thank you.
Okay, sounds good. Moving on to the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Garcia, motion by Mr. Moreno. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Garcia?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Manzanares? Aye. Ms. Romo? There's a motion on the floor to approve the agenda.
Ms. Romo, can you hear us? Ms. Romo, can you hear us?
She says she can't hear you.
She can't?
Cannot hear.
Waiting on technical difficulties.
Hola,
¿Sí? ¿Nos escuchas? Hay una moción para aprobar la agenda y una segunda.
no
¿Su voto?
escucho.
No escucho. Bueno, we're just going to proceed.
¿Aló?
Hello?
Sí, no estoy escuchando.
¿Nos escucha o no nos escucha?
Ahora sí.
Ahora sí, ok. Hay una moción para aprobar la agenda y una segunda. ¿Su voto?
Yes.
Yes. Motion passes 5-0. The agenda is approved. Announcements. These proceedings may be viewed on the City of Calexico website at www.calexico.ca.gov the Friday following the council meeting. Community office hours with Mayor Ureña will be held by appointment. Please contact the City Clerk's office at 760-768-2102 to schedule the appointment. I would like to announce that we will be establishing community office hours with the mayor starting next week, and those will be announced online within the next coming days to start next Monday. We're going to go on to presentations. We have number 2, the proclamation memorializing Chief of Police Toribio Flores. Toribio, thank you. Everybody have their bits? We'll go ahead and start with a lecture of the proclamation, starting with, whereas the passing of Toribio Flores on February 23, 2023 has brought immense sorrow and loss to the people throughout our community. And whereas, Ms. Romo?
Whereas the Calexico City Council believes that it is important that we honor and acknowledge those people who compassionately contribute to the betterment of our community, and
Whereas Chief Flores began his career with the City of Calexico in 1965, where he held the following positions throughout his 30 years of service in law enforcement. January 1965, appointed as police officer. September 1968, promoted to sergeant. April 1981, promoted to lieutenant. April 1981, acting chief of police. April 1982, promoted to commander. August 1992, acting chief of police. November 1992, sworn in as chief of police. August 1995, retired as chief of police. Whereas the Calexico City Council here today expresses its appreciation to Toribio Flores honor him for his dedicated and distinguished 30-year career with the city of Calexico, and
whereas throughout his life, Toribio was known.
Do you want to move?
Tessin, apologize for that. Whereas throughout his life, Toribio was known for his deep knowledge of the intricacies of criminal law and fair law enforcement, and whereas Chief Flores was a role model and mentor of generations of police officers and citizens, serving as an example of community involvement and civic leadership, and
whereas his common sense approach and perseverance in the face of challenges made him an advocate for others in the community, and whereas the high esteem in which Toribio Flores was held by his loving family, the numerous friends, and the community at large, stands as a testament for others who strive for the best in their personal, professional, and community life.
Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Calexico hereby expresses its deepest sympathy at the passing of Toribio Flores, and by this proclamation memorialize him for a lifetime of distinguished service to the City of Calexico and its residents. In witness whereof, I hereunto affix my signature and the official seal of the City of Calexico on this 15th day of March, 2023. Thank you. We have a copy of the proclamation here. I don't know if there's any family representatives of Toribio Flores that would like to...
If I make it, just give it a round of applause in his memory. So.
Built up Flores all my life in the family. I consider my family as well. I grew up in the law enforcement community. I knew Toribio Flores most of my adult life, and I was a teenager as well. And I give him my condolences today. And we love you. You know that Toribio was a friend. He was a mentor. He was a leader in his community. Okay?
Hello, I'm Jeannie Flores Wyatt. Toribio Flores is my father. I would like to express our deep appreciation on behalf of Hilda Flores and the entire Flores family. We've been blessed with support from the Calexico Police Department through this difficult time. Sergeant Legaspi, Corporal Fracker, Veronica, and several others have been there to help us and guide us along the way, and we're truly appreciate it. We also want to take a moment to acknowledge and thank the officers who served as escorts for my dad the night he passed. Sergeant Armando Orozco, Officer Sean Sundal, Officer Gabriela Torres, Officer Marco Mardueño, Officer Victor Garate. The respect and sympathy they had for us that evening was honorable and was a reflection of their true character. Thank you to the firefighters of the Calexico Fire Department Station 1. We appreciate you. And at the time of his retirement in 1995, Toribio had served the city of Calexico for more than a third of the city's existence. He was a Calesiano to the core. Being a class of 59 Bulldog, an Army veteran, and a retired police chief are all impressive. However, to us, he was a husband, dad, grandfather, and great-grandfather. Above all, he was a man of integrity and great love, and he will truly be missed. Thank you for honoring Toribio Flores today. Respectfully, the Flores family.
Gracias a ustedes y su
Thank you.
compromiso. Moving on to the next proclamation and presentation, Mr. Serrano, Mr. Legaspi, if you would like to present the sponsors of Kids and Badges, tastefully, leading after Toribio's legacy. Adelante.
Good evening, everyone, City Council, community, and family members of Chief Toribio. We're talking about a celebration now for our 19th annual Kids and Badges that was held in December of 2022. This program has been going on for 19 years, and this is where we work with Calexico Unified School District to find underprivileged kids and be able to take them on a shopping spree with the assistance of the police officers, firefighters, and explorers, and all personnel from the Calexico Police Department, including animal control and parking enforcement. So last year we were able to raise over $7,000 worth of funds to take approximately 45 kids for a shopping spree. So this is how the day starts. They show up at a restaurant locally. This year was Denny's. They provided all the food for all the participants, free of charge, of course. And that was their donation to the program, and they've been doing it for approximately 5 or 6 years on and off. So at 8 o'clock, they arrive at Denny's restaurant. They get seated. They get seated with and partnered with a police officer, fire department, firefighter, or one of our personnel from the police department. Once they're there, they have breakfast, typical breakfast: pancakes, eggs, bacon, chocolate, milk, and we definitely have entertainment. So this year, working with the library and the school district, we had a coloring contest where they were coloring a picture of what they thought that would be the contest. Eventually, everybody won, and they won a shopping spree at Walmart for $150. So after the breakfast, that is the time where they have officers and the kids converse and talk about what is in the future, and barely get to know the officers and the law enforcement personnel and firefighters to who they really are, and so they won't be afraid of us when they see us in uniform. From there, they get transported to, this year was Ashley's Furniture's parking lot, where Reach delivered our Santa Claus at that parking lot. The helicopter Reach comes in, lands in the parking lot, and then Santa Claus comes out. They take photographs with Santa Claus, and then they get transported over to the Walmart for the shopping spree. So at Walmart, the officer is the one that, or the city personnel, it's the one that's pushing the cart, and the kids go crazy. They go out and they grab toys, clothes for their kid, for their siblings, and sometimes even a gift for their parents, and it all adds up to $150. So this couldn't be done without all the sponsors that we get during the year, and these are great sponsors that either provide in cash donations or in kind donations, and we are very grateful for them, and this is the time to honor their support to our program. So once they are done with their shopping spree, they take a final photograph through Paul's photography, and before they leave with a photograph of them, their gifts, their partner, which would be a police officer or a police personnel or a firefighter, and showcase their gifts that they get, and then they go home. So it's a great program. We've done it for 19 years, and we plan to keep continuing doing this program for a long time. But today we're here to honor all the sponsors that have actually helped us throughout the years. They have not just helped us this year, but they've helped us for various years in the past. So, do I say the list, or
Yeah,
do you
yes,
want to call
please,
them?
for the record, the list of sponsors to honor.
Okay. So first, but not in no particular order, I think it's alphabetical order. So Mr. Arturis and Artunis Shell, he's one of our...
If they could come forward as they're
one
called.
of our sponsors, and he's always been a sponsor for a long time. Ashley's Furniture.
Ashley's Furniture.
Denny's Restaurant. Dr. Jaime Estrada. Calexico Walmart. And we've been partnering with Walmart for a long time. Even though they provide their store and provide us to come in there and visit their store and do all the shopping, they also provide a discount at the final checkout for all those kids. Calexico Unified School District. Calexico Fire Department. Camarena Memorial Library. Reach. Paul's Photography.
Mr. Serrano, if we could have the sponsors start lining up here in front, please, so we can, be prepared for the awards. Thank you.
McDonald's. Martinez Toe. Dr. Tien Bo. First Imperial Credit Union. Sun Community Federal Credit Union. Intercare. Calexico Tow. And I think I'm missing some from my list. You want to pass out the plaques? Sure.
We also want to thank the Calexico Police Explorers for, we found some talent out there. And at Ashley's outlet, the Calexico Police, we found out that the Calexico Police Explorers can sing. And they're going to sing a few words. No, I'm just kidding. They're not going to sing today. But the city manager heard them sing, and they sounded great, right? So they did a really good job. And every year, there's always a touching story with these kids. Every year we will have that one special kid that brings in a lot of joy to the program. And we had one this year, a 10-year-old who would steal the show. So he did an awesome job. And he came out on the KYMA news saying a few words. But like I said, every year there's always a special person that comes out and says a few words to us, these small kids. So also, Chief Jesus Serrano has continued on allowing this program to go forward for many, many years. So thank you, Chief Serrano. Round of applause for Chief Serrano. Go ahead and pass out the flag.
Mr. Serrano, could you help me deliver the awards? Thank you. We should just stand up. Nomás, párense para hacer una foto. Trae the first imperial para acá.
Hey guys, can you just look this way for a second? Please look this way for a second. Doing that for last year.
Muchas gracias. Madam Secretary, Ms. Romo is having difficulties with the connection. Sí. Sí. Yes, this is para leer ahorita.
¿Sigue Esperanza?
Señora, back the vote.
El eco. Should we just move forward with the definition? Yes? Yes, please.
That was just a one half of the presentation. We also want to give the presentation for our police explorers who were also involved, who volunteer their time to provide us with their help on this event. The explorers are juveniles, high school students who want to strive and be police officers in the future. They range from the age of 14 to 21. And this is our future for our department. This is where we hope we recruit and hire these juveniles or these kids to protect us in the future and send them to the academy.
If you could call them up to the front,
yes.
please.
Mr. Richard Aguilar. Mr. Oscar Barajas. Mr. Christian Gonzalez. Mr. Julio Manuel Gonzalez. Ms. Desiree Guzman. Mr. David Mena. Ms. Stacy Orozco. Ms. America Sarabia. Uh-oh. Belkis Sauceda. Usually names don't stump me, but that one did. Jocelyn Tabanico. Jamie Martinez Vasquez.
Excellent. We're going to stand up for a picture. Okay.
Once again, we want to thank you guys for all the great work you guys do and all the community service you provide for the community of Calexico. Thank you.
Muchas gracias. Thank you. Okay. Is Ms. Romo online? We will just proceed as is. Ah, okay. Okay, sounds good. Señora Romo, ¿nos puede escuchar?
Hasta ahorita, pero no me están dando permiso para el video.
Okay. No, ahorita vamos a proceder con la proclamación de la mujer.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is a proclamation celebrating International Women's Day on March 8th, 2023. I'll begin the proclamation. Whereas International Women's Day is celebrated globally on March 8th by those who believe in gender equity and who seek to improve the lives of all women and girls, trans and cis, two-spirit and gender diverse peoples through cultural, legal, economic, and social change. And whereas, Ms. Romo?
Whereas women and girls, in particular women with disability, racialized women, immigrant women, two-spirit and gender diverse people experience many forms of oppression, including violence and abuse, impacting their ability to experience true equity. And
whereas International Women's Day is a time to work towards a world where each woman and girl can exercise their choices and experience equity in her daily life. And
whereas on this International Women's Day, we celebrate and encourage everyone to embrace equity by actively working toward the creation of an inclusive world. We ask that everyone challenge gender inequality, draw attention to discrimination and bias, and work towards ending women abuse so that equity can truly be embraced by all. And
whereas the City of Calexico is committed to promoting equity and justice and will continue to work to address the systemic and structural oppressions that perpetuate inequity.
Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Raul Ureña, Mayor of the City of Calexico, do hereby proclaim March 8th, 2023 as International Women's Day in the City of Calexico, in witness whereof I hereto affix my signature and the official seal of the City of Calexico on this day, 15th of March, 2023. I would like to ask all the women to please stand up for a brief applause in recognition of your sacrifices, your struggles, and the future that we have for equity in this community. If you may. Un aplauso para las mujeres. I would at this point just like to acknowledge the majority directors of the city that are women that take professional leadership positions, including our city manager and all of our directors who in their majority identify as women in the city of Calexico. Moving on to the next item, public comments and public appearances. Public comments and appearances are not to exceed 3 minutes. This is the time for the public to address the City Council on any item that is not appearing on the agenda, that is within subject matter of the City Council. The Mayor will recognize you, and when you come to the microphone, please state your name and place of residence for the record. While members of the public are encouraged to participate, it is unlawful to disturb or delay the Council meeting with any personal or slanderous remarks. The City Council is prohibited by state law from taking action or discussing items not included on the printed agenda. If the item you wish to comment on is on the public portion on the agenda, we will take your comment when you get to the item on the agenda. I would at this point ask any persons who have disabilities and who need to be accommodated, you can make that known and we will try to accommodate you on the spot. If you give advance notice, we will have more time to proceed with any accommodations. I do have a couple of general requests for public comments, starting with Ms. Giselle B. Quirino.
Hi, hello, thank you. I'm not a very political person. I don't know how to use political fancy words. I'm just a citizen of Calexico since forever. I've been a pastor for a small church here in Imperial Valley around for 7 years. And the February 15, my handsome husband, January, no, February.
It was on February 15th.
February 15 or 10 landlord decided to cut off our water. I'm sorry, I'm here to discuss this a very different topic than the ones that are discussing right now, but I feel like we feel like we did all in our hands to asked the city for help, and this is one of the last options. So we've been without water in our house for a month now, today, exactly for a month. She cut off our water trying to evict us from the house. We received 3 days eviction notice, and everything started because I had a church service at home, less than 20 people, less than 7 kids. I understand that that she's in her right according to this, to your, ¿cómo se dice? To your rules, thank you, according to your rules, that she's in her right to cut off my water because my water bill, or water bill, was under her name. But we have an agreement that says that we as tenant pay all utilities. And also she sent, someone here disclosed to me that she sent an email where she asked the city to cut off the water as soon as possible, and that she didn't allow or was going to agree anyone else to give a signature to open the water again. For me, that's what it means is that she's kind of letting the city knows that someone was living there. I know it's been a month, and the city manager asked me, why did you put yourself in that position? Why did you stay? This is not only a house, it's our home. And at the time, I was going through a very intimate and difficult health situation that I needed to be at home. So we've been managing to have water gallons and everything to stay there. Right now, we're trying to move. My half of my house is packed now. But the thing here is that on the very 15th I came, and I asked to come to talk to someone else.
Ms. Cesar, that
yes.
concludes 3 minutes.
Okay, and they never agree. Many times we came, never agree, until yesterday that we came with the police. Now the city mayor came out and offers some kind of help. But why? This is a small city, but we people are not small. We deserve respect, we deserve help, and it was not offered to me until the police came with me. Is my time
Yes,
up?
it's 3 minutes. Thank you.
Excuse me, do you mind if we get another 3 minutes?
Yes, but if you could please fill out a slip afterwards, but go ahead.
So yeah, as she was saying, I find this very unacceptable from behalf of the city, to be honest, because I was doing my research online, and I found that the only 2 reasons they can cut off your water is because you're either delinquent or there's some construction going on at your place. If those are the only 2 reasons why the city or an entity can cut off your water. So Ms. Colio, she was telling me yesterday that she's afraid to get sued by the landlord because the contract is under her name, not ours. I understand that, but isn't it common sense for the city to go and do a little bit of research and find out if there's anyone living at the place? Because as of the moment, as of today, there's 4 people living in the house, my wife, myself, and my 2 kids. So I find it really difficult to understand how is it that in Calexico, stuff like things happens. I'm shocked. I'm shocked. So we're here for help. We need help.
Could you state your name for the record?
Yeah, yes, Francisco Valenzuela.
Francisco Valenzuela?
Yeah.
Just make sure you fill out a slip with
Right,
the
will
clerk
do.
as soon as... Okay.
All right.
Sounds good. Thank you. Next speaker is Ms. Norma Aguilar. She had submitted one for closed session, but we will be taking it now. Thank you.
Norma Aguilar, 839 Heber Avenue. Hold on.
Okay. Resetting the clock.
Sorry.
Todo bien, todo bien.
First of all, before I say my remarks, I want to thank the city council and the city of Calexico, the fire department, and the police department for the recognition given to Toribio Flores. He well deserved it. And it kind of goes back to, it kind of ties into my remarks. Because in 1990, that's right around the time when Toribio became chief of police. At that time, we had 17 police officers, including among them was Cindy Fraker, Victor Legaspi, Chief Serrano, Armando Macias, and Blanquin Sanchez. Right. Okay. And right now, that was for a city of 17,000. Okay. Toribio developed partnerships with local law enforcement across the way, partnering with Border Patrol. They had bicycles, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, you were one of the ones on patrol on bicycle. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, for a population of 40,000, we have 3 police officers on patrol. Okay? That's about 5 more than the young group of prospective police officers and service people that will be going into that area. Think about that. When we're complaining about things that are going on, and I'm not making any negative comments on people coming up and speaking, but I want you to know your first responders, that's important. Because if something goes wrong, who's there? Your police officers and your fire department. That's who comes to the rescue. And right now you have 3 police officers on patrol. That's scary. The other night somebody was creeping around my neighbor's house, sneaking up. I saw him during daytime earlier this week. So, and the reason why am I saying this? Because right now they are in negotiations with your first responders. And this is not acceptable for a population of 40,000. I'm afraid for our community. I hope you are concerned too. Finally, we overlooked someone who was very instrumental in getting information to and from the police department on the day that Toribio passed, and that was Veronica Valenzuela. Thank you, Veronica. She's not here, she's working right now. But even up until today, she was communicating with me. And also Victor Legaspi, Cindy Fraker, thank you. And I also want to make a moment to thank you, Camilo, on that night. Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Ms. Dori Fuch. Dori? Yes.
Good evening. My name is Dory Foch, and I am from Thousand Oaks, California. A 4-hour drive from here about. Okay.
Ms. Dori, are you going to speak on item number 13?
Yes.
1 second. Let's wait until we get on that item.
Okay.
Actually, see. Mr. Garcia? Jesse? Yes. Commissioner Garcia?
Parks, Recreation, Beautification, and Senior Service Commissioner. Today I was going around town checking out the parks, like I do once in a while in downtown area. Many of you probably saw what I put on Facebook. People are starting to use the downtown area to dump their unwanted furniture. Well, this is really working. And I think it was 2 days ago I went to downtown and there was somebody dumped a used broken down dishwasher. So I go, okay, I'm gonna call Public Works so have somebody come and pick it up. But then I thought about it and I go, you know what? I want to take it myself because there's some people. I mean, they're gonna have to leave what they're doing to come and pick this one thing up. So I was able to, good thing I was able to put it on my pickup truck and take it to the shop. And I see tires, people dump tires, mattresses in the alleys right there, bragging downtown. And if I could do it, you know, I'll help out and take it to the shop myself. Sometimes I can't, it's too heavy for me, but okay. We need to make the public aware of this. You know, give them the phone numbers to call the sanitation department. Maybe they don't know, maybe they think they're gonna get charged because they'll come for it for free to your home. Whatever you want to throw away. I mean, I call them myself many times. Mattresses, couch, no, not refrigerator because it can have gas. But many things, and people don't know that. So they just throw it on the side of the road or in the alleys, anywhere. We should put that in a newspaper, a Mexican newspaper, TV, and you know, for the people to know, so they won't be throwing them on the side of the road anymore. Because you could call, and they're not going to get charged anything. Good thing we have this company that helps a lot. So, I was right here at Crummy Park this morning, and I was looking at this here fenced area. This area has been fenced in for many years because it was supposed to be reserved only for concerts or for big activities, which we don't have any. So it's just fenced in, taking all that open space, and the public cannot use it. At Crummy Park, there are two shaded areas with picnic tables. One is over here in the corner by, what is it, Dole Avenue, and the other one is inside the fenced area, which people pass by there, they just see it, but they can't use it. I say we should unlock the gate that's on the Belcher Street. Let the public use that area. It's a big open area. I know next month on the 8th, Community Center is going to have an Easter egg hunt there. That's great. But then it's going to be locked and it's not going to be used for years or months. We need to keep it open for the public to play in. You know, also, we need to get trash cans. Many parks, Crummy Park is one of them, Rodriguez Park, Cortez Park, they don't have trash cans. There's no trash cans at all. So people, they have a picnic in the park, and sometimes they can't take the trash with them because they got to go to work or they're going on a trip. They're just passing by. So they'll leave the trash right there on the table. I don't get mad at them. I mean, what else can they do? No, there's no trash cans. We need to have trash cans, and also trash cans in downtown to replace the old ripped, trash cans. They've been there for many years. Right here at Crummy Park, next to the bathrooms, there's a bench that's been damaged for years. You can't sit on that bench. It's bended downward. You cannot use it. And it's been like that for a long time. It has not been replaced or repaired. The bathrooms in all the parks, we need to get them back open, working condition. They're all smashed up. We need to put metal commodes and sinks. Maybe those will work. Because the parks with bathrooms, people can't use them. The children go and play. One time I saw a school bus from I don't know where in the morning going to Rodriguez Park, and all the students got off and someone ran to the little girls and the boys ran to the bathrooms. But nothing, they're locked. We need to repair all the bathrooms again and open them up for the public.
Mr. Garcia, Commissioner, we are approaching 5 minutes. If we could just start wrapping up.
Okay, downtown. I was looking at those public payphones that have been obsolete for a long time. I mean, they're a nice word. Many people stuff them with trash. Those phones don't work. we should have those phones removed. I wanted to count them all, but I can't be walking that much. But so far, I counted around 6. One on 3rd Street in front of Dona Avenue. Those phones should be removed. And the other ones on 3rd Street, that building that looks like somebody threw an atomic bomb on top of it because it's all messed up. You know, it should be cleaned out. You say let's shop at beautiful downtown Calexico. Well, that building doesn't help. But you know, it's not beautiful at all. We need to remove that building and we've been having problems for a long time with the palm trees around town. Big mess. Border Park has a bunch of palm trees. Some employees have been saying that they would like to have them cut down completely, one by one, you know, until they're all gone, because it costs too much to maintain those palm trees. Back then, we used to have a cherry picker, a big truck, and the people and the equipment to trim those palm trees. We don't know more. So let's try cutting them down little by little until they're all gone, and put something better. You know, get rid of those palm trees. Maybe that's it. Oh, one more. Ollie Avenue. I mean, Ollie Avenue is an embarrassing street. I mean, full of potholes from Highway 98, where the post office is, all the way to the cul-de-sac, the canal. When are we going to repair Ollie Avenue? Get it back to, you know, smooth, not like the way it is right now. I mean, people have been asking me, people who live in that area, the trailer park, it's been like that for years. So I hope something's done about that. Well, I guess that's it, and thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Garcia, for your detailed reports. We'll make sure that they're forwarded to the appropriate budget process. Ms. Morales? Is this on an item or general? General?
Good afternoon, good evening, Mayor Ureña, City Council members. Thank you for allowing me to make this public comment. My name is Blanca Morales. I'm the CEO, co-founder of Calexico Wellness Center, and now a bid commissioner for the downtown. I've been working with the community and nonprofit organizations now for 5 years. We've been very successful in maintaining and sustaining our clinic and our thrift center. I have met this lovely lady, Diane, who has a big heart for Calexico Paws, Border Paws, and we are going to now collaborate with her, and we're going to start putting together a website. This is very close to my heart. I also rescue animals. I have 5 rescues. I rescued my last one here in Calexico, who was disabled, who's now passed away. I would like to propose to be on the agenda at your next city council meeting to consider renting the 1100 Imperial Avenue. We've actually started putting together a business plan for veterinary services and partner with the city of Calexico Animal Control Center. It will cost the city of Calexico $0. We're going to be creating a really good team with Diana's assistance. With this partnership, we're going to be working with veterinarian doctors, right? And then a team of that. We're going to also, our goal is to create therapy dogs to provide comfort and support to our patients and staff. So that's our objective here in the city of Calexico. So that'll help out the police department. Okay, thank you. Dan, you want to say something?
Yes, actually I do. It's awesome to see the explorers. I used to help out to work for a different agency, and I was actually an explorer advisor, and I know what it takes to become an explorer. I encourage you guys, if you're going to volunteer for the city, is to volunteer for the pound. You guys are volunteering for the city, why not the pound? It's also part of the city. You guys are doing traffic, you guys are doing this and that, and that's wonderful. Learn the law, learn what you got to do, but the city's huge, and the animal control is part of that. So I encourage you, no, I dare you to come and volunteer with me, and let me see what you got.
Miss, please direct comments to the city council. What was the name for the record?
Diana Daniels.
Diana
Diana
Daniels, yeah.
Thank you,
Yeah.
thank you. No te preocupes, todo bien.
Okay, thank you, Diana. And then also I have one more thing here. We're having a colon cancer awareness health fair on Wednesday, March the 22nd. I'm going to pass this flyer over to the city council members, so if you guys can come, I'd love to see you guys come visit our clinic, our mobile clinic. It would be great to visit. Have you guys visit our section on Heffernan Avenue. Thank you.
Thank you for your hard work. We'll make sure one of those is available for the public.
Yeah, we have some extra ones.
Okay, if you could put them on the table.
We're
in the
also
back.
on Facebook and Instagram. So they're all there. Thank you, everybody.
We appreciate your hard work.
Thank you all for showing up. I'd love to see all these people here participating.
Thank you, Ms. Morales. Mr. Jung Kim? Not at this moment. Mr. Kim?
First of all, I kind of shocked today again, and I'm guaranteed to our citizens that our city of Calexico not gonna do anything to improving safety on Calexico. Instead of that, city of Calexico is right now excessively being criminal activities. Even they know the criminal activities and they don't do nothing. They are failing to secure, or they are failing to protect our citizens from the illegal or criminal activities. The landlord, in order to kick the tenants out, they're using dirty tactic, closing the water account. That's a health issues, health and safety issues. That's illegal. They go to jail. As the zero steps was saying is the contract is on the name of the landlord. Okay, she closed the account. The tenants should have right to connect their own account. Why City of Calexico obligate landlord to signing and when they open the water service? Because used to be a lot of the tenants or even the landlord, they using the water without the contract. Let's say they close the contract, they left. But the owner of the building, a house, they just turn the water on. And when the new tenants come in, they have a lot of numbers, they've been somebody using it. So they have a gap on the charging, they start obligating the landlord to agree to open this account, so that way they can trace, in case of they cannot trace the tenants, they can trace to the landlord to pay the water bill. But now, the landlord using bad, dirty tactic to try to kick out the tenants if they don't like it. Even they called the city to close the water service, and they called the police department saying somebody living with the children without the water. So they try to using the city's illegal activities. A city knows, and they don't protect the citizens. And they don't do nothing. They don't arrest the person. And of course, city, first of all, this is happening because the city failed to determining to make sure nobody gets hurt when they disconnect the utilities.
Mr. Kim,
and they failed to check.
That concludes 3 minutes.
Yes. They concluded today are the one criminal activity done, and city failed to protect the citizens because when they close the utility, city is supposed to be confirmed, nobody's there. Nobody's living.
Mr. Kim, that concludes 3 minutes.
Yes.
If we could
So
proceed to the next.
city accessory of the being and the criminal activities.
Mr. Kim, it's
okay. Thank you.
3 minutes. Thank you.
So that's why as a city of Calexico failing to safety. They don't care about the people's safety.
3 minutes. Thank you. Mr. Sandoval.
Good evening, City Council and the public. I'm here as a member of Giselle. She's my pastor, and she made me aware of this situation. And I come just humbly requesting that the city to offer help and offer assistance more than just another place to live, but help at that house. It's been over a month that there's citizens here that have been over a month without water. That is shocking to me, and not because they're delinquent, not because they haven't paid. It's because of illegal activity that's taking place. So we came yesterday, and I just want to thank the Calexico Police Department because they came to our safety immediately. They came here with us and spoke to the city, and the city at this time couldn't offer us any help. So we're here to make it public. Help as far as turning on the water there at that house. That's what I mean, help, is turning on that water there for us. So I'm here humbly requesting that the city council could be aware of this situation, as well as the public to be aware of this situation, that I believe that it's not right. I think everybody here that hears me could agree that it's not right. It's a situation that no one should be in here. So I just want to make that aware. She's a pastor. She has her family. She serves this community with all her heart. She has a great heart. She helps out people. So I think that there should be, and in the future, if this situation ever happens, there should be some kind of bylaws that protect the tenant in a situation like this for the future. For if someone else is in a situation like this, I think that a tenant should have rights, and a tenant should be protected. And I think that's what's taking place here, is that they're feeling unprotected and not heard, which I hope you guys could hear us. I hope something could be done. And I want to thank you guys once again for this time. Thank you, and thank you to the Calexico Police Department for helping us out yesterday in this matter. God bless you guys.
God bless you. Thank you. Mr. Serrano.
Good evening, everyone, again. I just want to clarify a couple things regarding our Explorer program. Volunteerism is a choice. So if these juvenile kids, partners, would like to donate their time, they are already doing that. So if somebody's going to try to challenge them, shame them for already providing their services to the city on what they desire to do or what they enjoy doing, that is very uncalled for.
Excuse me. Order. Hello? Ma'am, there's a public comment. If there's any more outbursts, you will be escorted. I'm sorry about that. Continue.
So the Explorer program is already a regiment training program for the Explorers. They have a meeting on Tuesdays, and then they meet on Saturdays for training for what they want to do. They want to be police officers. Besides that, we got to give them the ability to be able to complete their homework, make sure they're home, and they conduct their chores and be with their family. We can't expect more than what they already give. And they have been great help for the city on events that they've chose to help us with. But once again, volunteerism is a choice, and nobody should be bullied or challenged or shamed for not doing their part, because they are doing their part. Every day that they come and they put on that uniform, they are part of us, and even when they're not with us, they're still part of us, because they still have to follow the rules and regulations for them to aspire to be a law enforcement officer. Once again, Explorers, thank you for providing your volunteering for our department, and you guys are part of our family. Thank you.
That does conclude public comments for the general session. I just want to extend to Ms. Dory, I apologize. Just so you know, most of these items are on consent agenda as of now, so we should be getting to 13 very, very soon. City Manager's report. Oh, one more public comment? Or for an item? Do you need it?
All public,
Yes, but it's for
no? What's his name?
Oh, Michael Gonzalez. Mr. Gonzalez, apologies. Is this for an item or public comments?
Public comments.
Okay, yes, sir.
Good evening, members of the community. Good evening, City Council. I'm Michael Gonzalez, the Vice President for the Calexico Police Officer Association. The POA is here in support of the items which are not on the agenda this time. We hope that they're in the following agendas, but they're for the Ivy Best MOU, the DEA MOU, and the Border Patrol MOU in regards to having federal agents assist the Calexico Police Department. The federal agents were previously in the agenda, but they were denied. We believe these federal agents assigned to the police department will be extremely beneficial to the department, the members of the community, and the city. This is not an immigration task force. This is not an immigration task force at all. These federal agents will only assist with investigations of crimes committed in the city of Calexico. Border Patrol is willing to match any detectives we have with the department. Unfortunately, right now, we don't have any detectives with the city of Calexico. So if we were to put one detective, they would put one federal agent. If we put two, they'd put two. The city will not acquire any cost for these federal agents assisting. On the contrary, we would actually benefit the department and the city, because we would be able to use their resources, like better equipment, to more efficiently solve crimes. Every day that this vote is prolonged is a loss for the community. We request that this item is in the next agenda. It's free manpower that the city is missing out on. Calexico City Council, let's listen to our citizens. Just today, most of the people that came up here were talking about public safety and how much we're lacking it. This program is a personnel multiplier for free. We're also here because we're currently in negotiations with the city for a new contract, and we want your support to make the Calexico Police Department the premier agency in the valley, as it used to be. Thank you, Mr. Camilo Garcia. We appreciate your support that has always been there for us. This new contract will help in the aspect of retaining current officers, as well as these special assignments that we're trying to get into the police department. If you guys have any questions in regards to these special assignments, or any questions in general regarding police work, POA, or whatever it may be, some of you have my number. You guys are free to contact me with any questions you guys may have. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to the city manager's report.
Good evening. I just want to brief you in some of the projects that are ongoing in the city. And this is thank you for Ms. Falomir. She has a lot of work. A lot of the items that are here today is because of her performance. The library restaurants is under construction, as you can see. Second slide, please. The construction company already completed most of the work, and he has the equipment that he needs to complete the restaurants. These are going to be ADA compliance, brand new restrooms, all female and males, open to the public, ADA compliance. Next slide. And this is the alleys pavement project. We're in phase number 1. The alleys in the areas closer to downtown are being repaired, paved. And so those are pictures that I took yesterday as I was walking on the streets to check how clean or how dirty the alleys are. And next slide, please. This is a quick overview. If you can move a little bit back. Okay, so the RFP to repave the roofs of 8 city buildings, it's ongoing right now. So hopefully we can have a result by the beginning of the next meeting so that we can approve all the bids received. An RFP is ongoing for the sewer and water rate study, the 5-year rate study plan, and the RFP for cannabis cultivation is also ongoing, which are, all of these are part of the audit as well. The new river improvements projects construction contract is being executed. The kickoff meeting will be next week so that we can start the project. So groundbreaking is coming on our way, but it'll be somewhere in April. The staff is coordinating events for the city's 115th anniversary. We will have 2 events. It will be posted on the website as well as the media. March the 30th, we have the Cesar Chavez celebration event at Rockwood Promenade. It includes a march, but this is pending the City Council's approval to be a co-sponsor with the Neighborhood House of Calexico. Saturday, April the 8th, Recreation Department is having an event, the egg hunting time at the Kramet Park from 9 to 11 a.m. And the staff is working now on the next fiscal budget. So we, as you can see, we have a lot of work to do. There's other items that I didn't add to the agenda because I was just rushing. But I want to say that I want to thank all the staff for working, try to make it happen for the city. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Colio. Any brief comments?
I have one thing for Ms. Collins. What's the issue with the parks? In terms of security for the citizens there?
What do you mean?
Because I mean, Chuito Garcia, right? He was mentioning something about the parks and downtown and.
I think what's the concern is the restrooms, and I understand restrooms are closed in most of the parks. The issue that we have with the restroom is the following. If we open the restrooms, and people have seen this over and over, homeless get into the restrooms. They can hide over there. We don't have a security guard to guard those restrooms. And if children gets into the restrooms, we don't have a way to know if they're safe inside of the restrooms. That's an issue that we have. I understand there is a need. I have discussed with the mayor and another board member, another city council member, about a potential design that allows people to be aware if the restrooms are busy, like a transparent on the bottom, like be able to be visible for the protection of children and women and any individual that goes into the restroom, because you never know who is inside of the restroom. We don't want to create a potential danger to any children going into the restroom and not being secure. That's our biggest concern. I understand in my heart that we need restrooms, public restrooms, but we need to find out a way to accommodate the needs, but also the security of the population, the citizens. So I just want to make sure that we are going to be working and bringing a consultant that is experienced in parks so he can give us some ideas on how can remediate those situations. As previously mentioned, we would like to do a survey, but I will be working with staff to put together a survey for the community to let us know what is more important for them for each one of the parks so that we can put together ideas and then hire an engineer that will provide us with the layout of what they want and for the city council to make a decision. Because ultimately, it will be the city council who makes the decision about what improvements can we afford and can we proceed and which ones are going to be first and second. Thank you.
Ms. Colio. Colleagues, any other comments?
No.
Questions? Ms. Romo, preguntas? No, hearing none, we'll move on to commissioners' report. Are there any commissioners in the audience that would like to report? Seeing none, we will move over to city council comments and reports of meeting attended. Ms. Romo, Vice Mayor Romo, do you have any?
No comments.
No comments?
Thank you.
Starting on my left, Mr. Moreno.
Mayor, I don't have a comment, thank you.
No comments. Mr. Manzanares.
No comments today.
No comments. Mr. Garcia.
I just want to take the time to highlight one activity that I was a witness of and participants of. March 2nd, Read Across America. I attended that event that was put together by a librarian, Ms. Lisa Legaspi. It was a wonderful event, well attended. I think, you couldn't find parking, you couldn't find a space inside the library. Lots of children, lots of volunteers. The community came out. Kudos, Ms. Legaspi and your team in the community and the volunteers. I know some of the teachers from our school district also were involved. Thank you for that. It was a great event. So thank you, and again, kudos. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Garcia. I myself just have a couple brief comments. I had mentioned that the next ICTC meeting where we will be talking about the traffic controllers was March 22nd. I've officially requested it be pushed back to April. We are in negotiations with Caltrans as SR 98, the current part that's under construction, is due to be open very soon. We're going to come into contact with them to strategize on a plan to move all of the border traffic that is southbound to Cesar Chavez. That meeting has taken a while to schedule, and for that reason, we're going to be pushing back the traffic control item at ICTC, which is to support the traffic controllers in the police department. That will get pushed back to April. There was some comments by Vice President Gonzalez on the items that were redacted in agenda review for this particular meeting. We're having a meeting with, I forgot which other council member is coming with me, but we're having a meeting with Chief Serrano specifically to talk about the details of those programs and come together to a conclusion that betters public safety and is the best proposal that we can move forward to the colleagues of this council. In addition to, of course, the funding priorities of not just the police department, but all other departments, and obviously departments, many of which units are also under negotiation. I want to make sure that this budget process, which is due to be concluding very soon at the end of this, or a quarter report is coming at the end of this month, that it is a point where we can establish basic realities of the budget, that we can start planning together, and overall promote budget literacy of where we are at and the projects that we seek to undertake, not just within our departments, but of course with the general community. And so we will be moving forward that way. We're by no means pushing these items aside, just letting them marinate and coming up with the best possible plan for that. With that being said, we are going to be moving over to the consent agenda. All matters listed under the consent calendar are to be considered routine by the City Council, Calexico Community Redevelopment Agency, successor agency, or Calexico Financing Authority, and will be enacted by one motion in the form listed. Any item may be removed by the consent calendar and considered separately by the City Council if there is such a motion.
I think they have one.
Yes.
I would like to make a comment in one of the reports for the police officer for the school district. There is a typo. It should be $150,000 in the report.
That is item 14, not on the consent calendar.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So
I thought
we will get there.
Okay, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Colleagues, any petitions to seclude an item from the consent calendar? If you would.
Item number 12.
Item number 12, second ordinance, okay.
Second reading and adoption of ordinance.
Is there a motion to remove that item from the consent calendar?
Motion.
I'll second that.
There's a motion, second by Moreno. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Otherwise, any other requests? No? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve consent calendar items 5 to 11?
So moved.
So moved by Moreno. Is there
Second.
a second? Second by Mr. Garcia. All those in favor signify by saying
Aye.
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 Aye. Mr. Manzanares?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Item number 12, second reading and adoption of ordinance number 2023-1229, an ordinance amending terms of office for commissions, boards, and committees, and merging the city's Arts and Historical Commission, Parks, Recreation, Beautification, and Senior Services Commission to establish a community services commission. Mr. Garcia?
Sure. I just want to make it known also, as I did on the first reading of this item, that I don't agree the way that it was presented because, the commissioners were not given ample time or any time to be participants of this process or the community for that matter. And I think also some of that language in this, ordinance too limits the terms of individuals serving in commissions. So I don't think we should be limiting. For the contrary, I think we should be encouraging. We just saw an example of Mr. Garcia, Jesse Garcia, that came out, and he has been a true advocate. And someone like him and so many other commissioners that are currently serving in commissions that have been there for years, and that doesn't mean that they have not been effective. They are effective. So I don't see why we have to limit their terms to 4 years and then have them sit out for 2 years before they can come back. So we also know that we have an issue, or we have a challenge, finding people who want to volunteer. So if we already have volunteers, why limit these individuals in volunteering? So for that, I just want to make it known that I'm not in agreement with this item. So that's my comment.
Thank you, Mr. Garcia. Any further comments? Council members? No? Any motions on the table?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Manzanares is second the motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 No.
Ms. Rojas?
Aye.
All noes? One no.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 4-1. Now we're at item number 13. Authorize city manager to construct a temporary local assessment center at Border Friendship Park, Teco Monroy. We do have some public comments, but before we get there, I just wanted to clarify, seeing some conversation in the community. There's a misinterpretation that we're allocating additional funds. We're not allocating additional funds. We're simply authorizing the city manager to move the proposed location of this assessment center for the migrants from First Street to the Border Friendship Park. Since they will be taking down the water tower to replace it, there's no way they can set up there because they would interfere with the construction. So it will be moved to Border Friendship Park, if I'm not mistaken. Is that an accurate assessment?
Yes, the approval of the $200,000 was made in January the 18th, and that's for all related activities, not only for this item.
Correct. Okay, sounds good. With that being said, Ms. Dory, if you would like to come up for your public comment. My apologies.
No, no problem at all. I'm a guest. I'm your guest. My name is Dory Foch, and I am from Thousand Oaks, California, and I'm here today representing the California Pacific Annual Conference of the United Methodist Church. And today we had a meeting here at Calexico, UMC, with Pastor Baldwin, and our meeting was about border concerns. And as Christians, the United Methodist Church wants to wholeheartedly support as many ways as we can to welcome the vulnerable migrants that are coming into Calexico and all of the other communities across the United States. So I am in favor of this local assessment, and I'm excited about it, at the center at the Border Friendship Park. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Castillo? Dylan?
Testing. All right, good afternoon, Mayor Ureña, council members, city staff, and community members. My name is Dylan Castillo. I'm a planning commissioner for the city of Calexico, but I'm also here today as my capacity as a community organizer with the Imperial Valley Equity and Justice Coalition, and we would just like to voice our support for this important initiative. We'd like to thank the city of Calexico for your leadership on this and for helping over 1,000 asylum-seeking migrants and being supportive of getting them to their travel to their destination, and we continue to stand at the ready to assist in this partnership. Thank you.
Thank you. Baldwin Avedaño, Pastor.
Okay. Pastor Baldwin Avendano of Calexico United Methodist Church at 403 10th Street here in Calexico. I'm in favor, of course, of this initiative, as we have learned and approved already a couple months ago This is a great support, and I think the City of Calexico can check for those grants and funds from other sources, not using our money, but fortunately have resources from other instances that can help us with. And it was discussed on prior months, right, that if we were going to deal with the crisis of migration in Calexico, what if we don't assist, what if we don't attend the need of hundreds of individuals and families of all nationalities? What if they get stuck in our city? Then it can lead to greater problems that we may not be ready to deal with. So we are in total support of that as a nonprofit, as a church, as a Christian faith community of faith, to share our support. And thankfully we are here for the city, for the county, to support, as well as we have always been as a nonprofit institution, always loving our neighbors, like in this case. So totally in support of this initiative in this particular order on behalf of our city. God bless you all.
Thank you, Pastor. Do colleagues on the City Council have any comments on this item?
I think you missed one of them.
Public comment?
Yeah.
Mr. Arvizo? Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm in support for this movement of making a center for people in need that cross the border, transfronterizo communities, asylum seeker, campesino, or just people that cross the border and could benefit from having a center that's near the border when crossing. I remember we used to have a campesino center back in El Hoyo, where the outlets is now, but they got destroyed. It was a beautiful place where people would meet, coordinate, socialize, and be able to, wait for their job to come in and take over, go to work, right? So if that got taken away, a lot of people got displaced in that sense. So, and making a center for people that use the border, and I read some of the logistics. They might have a restroom, plumbing, and like sewage system. So we're gonna have some sort of restrooms, and there's. So is this the 300 beds, or is this different? Is this a different?
This is a different project.
Okay, so different project.
Two trailers.
Nonetheless, that's better. The more the merrier, because the more access to resources the community has, the easier it is for the community to be, in a sense, needy, right? And a lot of people, quote unquote, hate homeless people, hate campesinos sleeping on the street, or just like using the alleys as restrooms or something. But this could be a way to alleviate the pressure that we have on downtown. A lot of times people get mad for the burnt buildings, but a lot of times that happens because someone is just trying to find some nice place, warm place to be able to survive the night. So this will alleviate and help a lot of other communities to not feel to need to get to those extremes. So I applaud to you guys, and it might feel weird for some people to see this kind of proactive, progressive actions in the city, but someone has to take initiative and start doing things to help the community that's definitely in need. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Arvizo. Colleagues, did you have a comment, Mr. Garcia?
Sure. Ms. City Manager, where's this money coming from? I know, but just so the public can know.
So this funding was originally allocated from the ARPA funds as a temporary account. Well, we prepared our application to the FEMA application, and there's two applications. One is for reimbursement of expenses that we incurred, and the other one is for an advancement of potential expenses that we're going to have. In addition to that, we also getting all the documentation to present it for the emergency declaration that we have, so they will recognize as an emergency and submit it to the state for the review and approval. If we get the approval from the state, we will get reimbursed for all these expenses, but we're still going to try other venues as well, if in case that we don't get approved as an emergency. So we're looking at different venues to bring back that money.
So what's the timeline? I know we're barely working on submitting applications, so I need
Yes.
to find
The
resources. What's the timeline?
The timeline for the applications for FEMA are April, so we're working on that. We need to have all the expenses together so we can apply for the reimbursement portion using our declaration of emergency. And we also working with different nonprofit organizations to create a plan to provide the services, because the city, we do not have the staff to provide the services, so we're going to rely heavily on nonprofit organizations. We have so far on board 3 nonprofit organizations to provide services and to provide assessments as well. So for example, 2 of the travel trailers have been fixed already. We're just waiting for this approval to start moving the trailers. It took about 4 weeks to get it fixed. One of them will be an office for current employees of the city, like when the firefighters are over there on site, and Chief Avila can help me with that. They go over there, they assess the individuals. Some days it will be easy to assess them and they will go in an hour, but some other days there will be 4 or 5 hours over there with no restrooms, no accessibility to water or any services. So one office will be serving that purpose. The other office or the other trailer will be served as an office for the nonprofit organizations. They can provide other type of assistance. The food bank that is providing with hot meals, the wellness center, the church, and Catholic Charities is also reached out to us because they are assessing the CBP individuals that are now they are assessing as well to take them to the shelter or to help them to leave the city. So that's the idea of the assessment center.
Okay, thank you for the explanation.
Thank you.
Just to make this clear also, this is coming from ARPA.
Yes, sir.
So, and we know that ARPA, we need to obligate this money by 2024 and spend this money, have to
Yes.
spend this money for 2026.
Yes.
So if we don't get reimbursed or we don't get this money back from the emergency declaration, ARPA will be used to cover this cost, right? So, and again, I'm not against this. I'm not, not for helping people. I can tell you that I have helped people both out there and financially, but in this case, I want to make sure that I take care of the house first. I want to make sure that we invest this money in Calexico for the citizens of Calexico. We just heard a lot of concerns and a lot of needs that we have to meet first here in house. We have our own firefighters, sleeping almost on the floor. And I know you have a plan to, fix the roofs of many
Yes.
buildings and other structures.
Yes.
But to me, it's taking care of my house first. I think that's my priority. And for that, I will motion not to approve this item. Thank you.
There is a motion on the floor. Is there a second? Motion dies for lack of second. Ms. Colio, I did have a question based on Ismael Arbizu's comment.
Yes.
Is there a possibility once this center is established and its operating hours, if there is an orderly way where the community can use the trailer's restrooms at large, if we can explore that if this item is approved?
I'm not sure if I'm following your question. You meaning that the public, any person in the public can use those restrooms? That's what you mean?
If we can explore
That
if
option.
there's an orderly way in
Uh-huh.
which we can make that happen so that the general community
Use the
could
restroom.
also use the restrooms once in a while if it doesn't interfere with the operations.
We can explore that definitely, yes. I will consult with our HR department for risk management. And I just want to clarify something. One of the reasons, people keeps complaining every day about the homeless and the streets. Every time that I come to the city, it's a complaint about the homeless sleeping on the floor and the streets, and nobody's doing anything. If you remember, back in December 23rd, we have females and their children on the streets with no supervision, drop on the streets. Our concern that was that those children will be on the streets sleeping on the parks with no assistance. More than anything, this is only an approach to prevent additional homeless in the community. And the reason why I'm saying this, based on our experience that we have with this population, we close to 2,000, Chief, more or less, right? 2,000 people released in the streets in 8 weeks. So what happens is the following. Some of them, they come and they're not ready to move on. Some of them, they take up to 2 days for their sponsors to respond. And when that happens, we have a homeless person for 2 days in our city. We could potentially have 17 people. I think the maximum amount that we receive once, how many people receive shelter one day? The maximum amount, I think it was 17? On one day, for 1 day. Shelter for 1 day that they needed, 1 day we couldn't accommodate those individuals. 17. And then we have another instance, we had 9 people. Where do we put those 9 people or 17 people? Do we leave them on the street? And would that be okay with our residents? Those individuals most likely do not speak the language. They have no way to communicate with their families. What we use is our phones, the city's phone, a phone that has been designated for this effort, that has an app that when the individual talks, it picks up the language that they speak and it translates into English, so we understand where they're coming from. We make communication with them so they can reach out to their sponsor. The sponsor sometimes will respond in the same day, or it might respond on the second day. We don't know. So we're trying to prevent additional people on the streets. It's all what we're trying to do. We don't want to keep them in the town. Yes, it might be perceived like we're spending money on them, but we're trying every way to recover those expenses. And that's what we're doing so far with the process. And I want to assure that our goal is to protect the community from having additional homeless on the street.
Thank you, Ms. Colio. At this point, I'll be asking, do you have a comment, Mr. Marino?
My comments for Ms. Colio. The money that's sitting in the bank and ARPA funds, talking about specifically the ARPA funds, is that generating income? How much, does it generate income? The money that's sitting in the bank and ARPA funds? It wasn't deposited, there's a deposit in a bank, or where is the money deposited?
The money, when we receive a portion of the funds, is on the
Okay, so
account and
it's
it's creating
okay,
interest, yes.
All right. The other thing also, thank you for that. I was going to say, based on your experience working with the county, because you came from the county, and they did declare some emergency back when you were there employed. What is the probability? Did all your money that you invested, did it get recouped from the state?
I have never applied to a grant backwards. This is the first time that I'm doing it
But
this
when you
way.
declare an emergency, the state does come in and bail you out, right?
The idea of the emergency is to declare that we cannot afford to
Right.
affront the situation, but at the same time, we don't want the people to be on the streets. And it's a humanitarian issue as well. Why are we exposing people to be on the streets and sleeping
Right.
on the street? And that's the reason why we're looking for different funding sources so that we can get our funding reimbursed, our expenses reimbursed.
Okay, thank you. That's all there.
At this point, a comment or a motion?
Comment. I just want to reiterate what the city manager said, that this project is to help Calexico. Like, let's not get confused about that. This project is to reduce and try to mitigate the homelessness problem that can result from these migrant surges that come and go in the city of Calexico. As you all know, what is the tool that we use to deal with homelessness in Calexico? Our police department, right? And we keep hearing day after day after day, every single meeting, that they're understaffed and they don't have time. And essentially, that's not a problem that they should be responding to, right? So are we really going to stretch our police department even thinner by allowing these families and children and women to be on the streets, right? This project is to help Calexico. It is a prevention project. We're not going to wait until there's hundreds of people because their policy changes, Title 42 might lift, and all these things. We're not gonna wait until the house is burning to actually be like, oh my God, like we should have approved this project. This is prevention and if it helps people, pues los estamos ayudando también. But at the end of the day, the homelessness is an issue that people bring the most here. And the ones that deal with this is the police department, right? And they are already understaffed and they're thinned out in their projects. So this is the way to go about this, in my belief, and I'm gonna make a motion to approve this project.
I'll second it, Mayor.
Mr. Manzanares makes a motion to approve. Mr. Moreno seconds the motion. Señora Romo, hay una moción para aprobar. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 No.
Motion carries 4-1. Moving on to item number 14, authorize the city manager to sign a memorandum of understanding with the Calexico Unified School District to provide law enforcement personnel to function as school resource officers. We identified a very small typo in the agreement. There was a quantity of 15,000 as opposed to a maximum of 150,000. Just for the record, and we'll go briefly to public comments. We have two public comments. Dr. Jimenez from Calexico Unified.
Thank you, Mayor Ureña and City Council members and ladies and gentlemen of the audience. My name is Arturo Jimenez and I am the Superintendent of Calexico Unified School District. And I'm here tonight to ask for the City Council's support of this agenda item for an SRO for Calexico Unified School District, this partnership with the city. Over multiple days and many hours of collaboration, myself with my staff and Chief Serrano and his staff, we met to collaborate and work out a program where we could provide a school resource officer at our high school. We in education, we're an institute of teaching and learning. We're an institute of educating our youth. And so we're there for reading and writing and math and science and social studies and other academic subjects. But there's not one subject, there's not one area of schooling and education that is more important than the safety of our children, than the safety of our staff, the safety of our families who are on campus. That is the most critical, the most important priority that is in our responsibilities every day when parents leave their children in our responsibility. So this is a responsibility that we have to take extremely, extremely important. We deal with a lot of very difficult situations in school districts, challenging situations, but there's not one thing that keeps me awake at night but to think of the safety of our kids. That's the one thing that if anything would make me nervous or it would be the safety of our kids. And heaven forbid that we ever it would experience a tragedy like we see far too often in our society. Heaven forbid that we ever see something like a Uvalde Elementary School or El Paso, Texas, or Columbine or Sandy Hook. All those communities had one thing in common. Everybody believed, not in our house. This will never happen here. This will never happen in our community. This will never happen in our neighborhood. Unfortunately, tragically, sadly, it did, and it does happen. Whether it's a movie theater or any other public place, it does happen. We owe it to our community, we owe it to our families, to our parents, we owe it to our residents to make sure that we do everything we possibly can to keep their children safe. There's a Latin word that's called in loco parentis, and what that means is that in the absence of the parents, we are the parents. In the absence of mom and dad, we are the parents. And so that's a responsibility that weighs very, very heavily on us. It's not a one-point solution. It's not one thing that's going to make everything 100%, but it's an added layer. The purpose, as I've discussed, and Chief Serrano and I are on the same page, this is not in any way, shape, or form for the criminalization of our students. This is all about student safety and security, school safety and security. I am very, very well aware, and I am passionate and adamantly against the school to prison pipeline. I am a child of the inner city. I am a child of of very rough areas of town. But I actually have very positive experience since a child with our local police department and the partnership that they formed with the communities, with the city, with the schools. And so there is a right way of doing this. There is a positive way of doing this. There is a way of doing school policing, which is a specialty type of policing that's there to help with restorative practices, that's there to help with a student's safety and security again, that we could be the model in the state of California. We could be the model in the nation of how to do this correctly. So I ask tonight for the City Council's support and approval of this item. We believe in this so much that our school board has agreed to fund this position completely, 100% total compensation, salary and benefits, not a penny to the city. We will completely fund this position because we believe in it so much. We have our principal here tonight, are the captain of Calexico High School, Miss Gabby Williams, who is on board with this. We have our school board members, President Alvarado, and school board member Calderon. We had members of our cabinet here, Mr. Romel Guerrero, our safety coordinator, Miss Alex Limon, Miss Elisa Ramirez was also here, but she actually had a meeting with the parent at 7:30. So we really believe in this. We're going to do this the right way, and we're excited for this partnership and our relationship with the city. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jimenez.
Thank you.
We have two more public comments on this item, but before we proceed, I would just like to set a motion to approve on the table with the amendment or the correction of all figures to $150,000. Is there a second?
Also moved.
Huh?
Or make a motion?
We'll get to comments, but I'm just setting the motion. Is there a second? to that
Second.
motion? Mr. Garcia, which one? Which one came
Well, he
first?
made it first, right?
Okay.
Who made it first?
Well, whatever. As long as it
Doesn't matter.
give it to
Mr. Moreno?
Mr.
Okay.
Moreno.
For the record, Mr. Moreno seconds this motion. Two more public comments. Mr. Jonathan Ramirez? Rangel, apologies.
No problem. So first and foremost, I see some of my old bosses are here, school board members and administrators. For a little bit of info, I used to be campus security for 6 years at Calexico High School. So I know the ins and outs of that school very well. I'm here to speak a little bit of the SRO program and what it entitles, the benefits that it can have for the district, for the schools, and for the citizens, the community. So SROs can fulfill a variety of roles, preventing and responding to school-based crime, fostering positive relationships among law enforcement, educators, and youth, and helping to promote a positive school climate. The SRO provides a highly visible presence to deter or identify trespassers on campus. In addition, SROs provided service to the surrounding community by addressing concerns such as loitering, stop signs, or even speeding in school zones. SROs are responsible for investigating violations of criminal law. The SRO provides crisis and emergency training to all faculty and staff. The SRO will conduct informational presentations to parent groups concerning emergency drug trends to the children that may be exposed to. The SRO may speak to school clubs about driver safety issues, and so forth. There's a lot of things that the SRO can talk about, especially being in-house in the campus. With that, it comes with establishing strong bonds between the school stakeholders. It is extremely important to maintain a secure and safe campus. A key factor to understand is that the SRO will be the first line of defense if any immediate threat is attempted on any campus. An SRO's sworn duty to enforce the law does not contradict the need for the SRO to be a positive role model, but rather support it. It is essential for an SRO to endorse high moral standards and use good judgment and discretion. Through this, the students learn and understand what a professional police officer does. It is important to note that SROs are not school disciplinarians. SROs are not involved in investigating school rule violations, such as a student cheating on a test. Violations of school rules are responsibility of the principal and the staff. With the SRO and the district working side to side, we will try to find solutions to help out the at-risk youth. The main objective is to make sure we do not have repeat offenders. A last resort will be an arrest. It is important to let the district take on the primary role of the disciplinary. Utilizing school resources and referring parents and students to other programs will be sought after. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Arana. There is one last written comment by Ms. Loli Mercado Torres. It was labeled item 15, but it's actually for this particular item 14. Honorable Mayor, City Council members, and City Manager, as a 78-year-old grandmother, I urge you to support and agree to coordinate with the Calexico Unified School District in approving the request for a school resource officer. Calexico is not the safe city that we were used to, and neither are the schools. Our children, teachers, and staff need to be protected from incidents that could become a tragic incident. Hopefully, you will be united in voting in favor of this item. Thank you, Ms. Mercado Torres. With that being said, there's a motion on the table, and we will be taking comments, starting with Mr. Manzanares.
I just have a question, because I know that the Calexico Unified School District is not going to be providing like a vehicle. I just want to make sure that this doesn't tie us to actually purchasing one if needed. Right? No? Okay. And also, it would be interesting to see what sort of metrics we could use, or Calexico Unified School District, to measure the effectiveness of having an SRO in school. Whatever those metrics look like, whether it's a reduction in school fights or a reduction in truancy, it would just be interesting for the council to know, to see if this program is being effective in those manners, right? So,
I know Mr. Serrano will answer the question about the vehicle right now, but before he comes up, I also want to second that call for metrics, not just in the effectiveness. I very much trust in Mr. Jimenez's promise for the usage of the school resource officer, not as an agent of criminalization, but as a person that is, going to be there for resources. Of course, any officer that is sworn by the Calexico Police Department will be subject to the general oversight of the city. So we will definitely be in collaboration to make sure that we are in fact using this resource not to criminalize the students, but to foster a supportive and effective safety program in the way that Mr. Manzanares has requested metrics. We will also be working in collaboration if this is approved. Mr. Serrano, on the vehicle. Will this school resource officer be using an existing vehicle? Will we provide one? Will the school district provide one?
Yes, we have vehicles right now available for the school resource officer to use while he's performing his duties at the school. And just to add on what all the public comments have said, the primary of the school resource officer is for the protection of the school. He or she will be the frontline defense for that school at that time. As we've studied the active shooters on schools, the biggest deterrent is a armed officer on the school grounds. By that time, the active shooter will need to decide if he really wants a confrontation with a armed police officer trained. But in addition to just the safety of the school, the main role of the school resource officer, as it was outlined earlier, is that they're going to be a mentor, they're going to be a coach, they're going to be someone that the students could go up to and build that bonding relationship with the officer and be the liaison between the school and the police department.
I think that answers the question. Let me just get through all the comments. Any other colleague comments?
No, I just want to echo that, support of the public, and then also the school district, staff that came in and to support this item. But then also in talking about, cars, and I know we have some cars that probably have seen better days, but what I've seen also in certain areas that sometimes they take those cars and park them, near schools or near areas where traffic, is going fast. So maybe, I know that's not part of this item, but something that just came to mind. Maybe if that can be explored, of course, working on that, maybe just parking, and I leave it up to you, you're the expert, I'm just thinking out loud here. But I think it will be a good strategy to probably slow down traffic, because I've seen, how, people tend to speed. So maybe that's another option, that now that you brought up, the cars. But again, just thinking out loud. But thank you, Chief.
Thank you. Okay. Any?
Yeah,
Mr.
I'll say
Moreno?
something. There's over 5,500 police departments throughout the nation that already use the school resource officers. Out of that, approximately 25,000 school resource officers, sworn police officers, already assigned to those cities. Thank you, Mr. Alvaro, for showing up here. Thank you very much for being up here. Mr. Calderon, thank you also. Dr. Jimenez, thank you very much. Ms. Williams, also thank you very much, and our school staff from Calexico High School. So, having said that, I strongly believe on these programs like this, and I'm gonna tell you why. I was a former SRO when we first initiated back in 1980 something. I remember when I was a police officer in Calexico through the OCJP in California with the Office of Justice, Criminal Justice Planning. I was the very first one, and Victor Legaspi came in second. And I know Mr. I remember your last name next to you, Carvajal also was a school resource, if I'm mistaken. No? Okay. Well, I did see you out there. But anyway, and to this day, it's an honor for me to say that I'm sitting here as an elected official, that I know we had some setbacks because of COVID and everything else, but times may have been hard, but I strongly support this, not only because of my 34 years of law enforcement experiences, but also aside from because it bridges the gap in the community with the school district and the police officers and everybody else. It does deter crime, traffic violations, massive shootings, gangs, anything to do it. They're crime prevention, they're their safety. The schools are safer, and it also helps out with crime prevention at schools. So I'm all for this, 100%. Thanks everybody to be here. Thanks for the Calexico Unified School District. Thanks for the police department to be here. Thank you, Legaspi, for taking that baton after I left, and thank you for the Chief Serrano for promoting this program that certainly is going to pay dividends for our community. Thank you.
Ms. Romo, any comments? Señora Romo?
Thank you. Welcome for Arturo Jimenez and personal and board members. And I agree with the MOU. And thank you so much, Mayor Esperanza Colio, Mr. Serrano, and all personnel for Calexico City for Calexico. Thank you so much. I agree with the MOU.
Okay. With that being said, there is a motion to approve with the amendments or corrections to $150,000. There was a scripter's error. There's a second by Mr. Moreno. Any further comments? Okay. All of those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 That motion carries unanimously, 5-0. We are now going to the appointment or confirmation to the following commissions by Mayor Ureña, boards and committees. I only have one appointment to make, and that is the reappointment of Camacho. I will be rolling over the rest to the next meeting. Item number 16, appointment by Councilmember Manzanares to commissions, boards, and committees.
I just would like to appoint citizen Raul Ureña Sr. for the Business Improvement District. And that would be it for today for me.
Thank you, Councilmember Manzanares. We're going to go to future agenda items, starting with Vice Mayor Romo. Any future agenda items?
No for the moment.
Mr. Moreno, any future agenda items?
No, Mayor, thank you.
Mr. Manzanares?
None.
None. Mr. Garcia?
I just want, Ms. City Manager, if we can look into code enforcement or looking at where we stand with the buildings that have burned down all throughout downtown, and see where we stand as far as the owners, cleaning up, or what can we do as a city to make sure they get cleaned up, whether we clean it ourselves and then, we pass on the bill to them, but we need to clean up. Thank you.
Ms. Colio, I do have 3 or 4 items.
Yes,
Most of them are updates.
I have.
Mr. Moreno, did you still want to put the Farm Worker Service Center for the next one?
Yes, thank you for bringing that up. I did get a hold of Vino on an event a couple of weeks ago. He was out of town in Italy. We're going to meet next week to give you an update on that.
Permission to go with you?
Yes.
Okay, sounds good. So that item, Farm Worker Service Center update for next meeting. You can just leave it blank. I'm sure Mr. Moreno will be presenting on that item. I would like to make a presentation as Transportation Commissioner. I feel like it's time to at least start a general discussion on a speed safety plan for the city of Calexico, and this can be for all type of speed matters. What our strategy is going to be for traffic safety. I wanted to explore the option, and this is not for next meeting, but whenever we have time, definitely not for next meeting. If we can consider or start analyzing the potential demolition of the current traffic controller's office building with the restrooms that are in unsafe condition, and see if it would be viable to replace that temporarily with one of the trailers for the traffic controllers.
You mean the restrooms?
The building that houses the traffic controllers and the restrooms,
Uh-huh.
I would like an analysis, a very surface level analysis to see if it's worth demolishing that building and using a couple trailers in the interim, if possible.
Okay.
That's it. And for next meeting, it's going to be April. We have a deadline to propose any ballot measures, I believe by July or August. I would like to start presenting the vacant property tax initiative. I'll make it a very brief presentation on my part in conjunction with council where appropriate. That being said, any other items? No? Hearing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So moved. Second by Mr. Garcia. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Unanimous.